this year right now it's like 48. You know, we can be on the clock for 5 hours, 10 hours, you know, about 20 grand that we had to really day to day, like I said, 3 to 4 jobs. And it's Carlos saying, I'm the owner of Plethora Pressure Washing. This is our 6th year in business. How I got started, it just kind of like fell in my lap. You know, I bought a pressure washer to do my own house, and my brother and I, you know, we just decided to just start a business. It's just kind of like how it happened.
What was the first like equipment that you bought?
I just bought like the smallest pressure washer that I seen, the cheapest, because like I said, I was doing it, I started to do my own house. I bought it to do my own house, and that's how we got started. So once we decided to, you know, really do it as a business, you know, we did my sister's house, and we realized that that small piece of equipment wasn't gonna cut it. So start investing into bigger equipment.
Do you know how much money you spent to get your operation going?
Everything kind of really happened over time, but I would say, you know, just to get it started, you know, it was about 5 grand, between 5 and 10 grand, you know. But over time, to really get where we are, I wouldn't say where we are now, but, you know, to get where in our 2nd year, you know, about 20 grand that we had to really put into the business to really get to a point where we can kind of like do the work we wanted to do.
When you first started, were you doing like siding, or were you doing driveways, or was it a little bit of everything?
Pretty much a little bit of everything. And then we added on, you know, painting decks. But we quickly took that off because I wanted just to stick to, I didn't want to spread myself too thin, but we do clean everything exterior, and that's pretty much what we started with in the beginning, and that's where we are right now.
What's like your day-to-day look like today?
We do 3 to 4 jobs a day. It really depends on the size of the jobs because we offer multiple services. I mean, if we were just doing a house wash, I mean, that can be an hour, hour and a half most of the time, unless it's huge. But most of the time on one visit, we're doing most of the time like a house, windows, gutter cleaning, sometimes a deck, but it's multiple services. So it's, like I said, it just depends. Day to day, like I said, 3 to 4 jobs. If we start at 8 o'clock, we can get those done, you know, by 3, 4 o'clock if we're really, you know, hustling.
What are some of your funnest jobs? Like, what do you like doing the most?
I like washing houses. You know, it's pretty quick, it's easy. I can do it by myself. I hate doing windows. It's time consuming, it's tedious. That's my least favorite service. Hand washing windows. I like doing gutter cleanings, the decks. I don't like doing decks. Decks with rails. The rails is what's it's tedious. You got to hit all 4 sides. You know, sometimes it's a million of them. So the spindles rather.
What are some of the like main expenses that come with pressure washing?
The chemicals that we use, the soaps and everything, that's like the main expense. Pretty much once you got your equipment, if you take care of it, I mean, it'll last you, you know, years. You know, we spent, you know, 5 grand on our biggest pressure washer. This is our 4th year with it. It's still running strong. You know, we do oil changes on it and everything, take care of it. So, I mean, it's made us, you know, a lot of money, so.
Yeah. And then how are you like getting your clients?
We do a little bit of Facebook advertising. We're on Google. So we have a Facebook page, we've got a Google page, Yelp page. We're on Nextdoor. When I first started off, we were on Thumbtack, word of mouth, obviously. What brought us the most business was our Google page. Because when I started this business, I noticed that a lot of companies, there wasn't a lot of pressure washing companies on Google. And the ones that were on Google, they didn't have many reviews, and there were some bad reviews. So I looked at that and I figured, you know, I probably could, you know, kind of take over that portion of the market. And I pretty much did. I mean, we got 161 5-star Google reviews. And pretty much most of our business in the beginning came from Google, like 95% of the calls, because we always ask, how did you hear about us? And they say Google.
And when you say Google, is that paid ads? Or?
No, we tried some paid ads and it just didn't work. We've hired a few companies to, you know, kind of like do the back end work on that. And, you know, they make promises, but, you know, I really didn't see much results. So I don't really do much ads at all, to be honest.
How far do you guys travel to do a job?
I'm on a normal basis, about 30, 35 miles. I mean, I like to stay under 30. We've gone to Ludington, which is about an hour and a half, hour, 15 minutes. We've gone 2 hours once. And I probably never do that again. Ludington, Caledonia, that was about an hour 15 minutes, hour 30 minutes. I don't like to drive that far because, when you get so far away from like home or what you're used to, and if anything happens, like something can break down, or when we're on the highway, a tire blow or something like that, I don't want to risk that, So I like to stay in my safe zone, which is, under 30 miles.
From when you first started to now, how many employees have you gained, and how did you know that you needed employees?
When I started a business, this is not my first business I started, but when I started business, I always think of helping my family and friends. So, hiring employees, which is, I don't call them employees, I call them partners. That has always been my goal, is to help people. So my largest team that I had thus far, which was this year, I had a team of 7. I'm constantly trying to grow because I want to help people. I want to help, I want to offer my sons, my nephews, my family, friends, I want to offer them jobs, so that's my goal.
Can you talk about some of the businesses that you started in the past?
I started a moving business. I've always tried to start businesses that were fairly easy to do because I always think about my sons, my brothers, my nephews, the men in my family. I always wanted them to take care of their families and have a way. So I started a moving business, and then we were hauling junk. We added on junk hauling. I had a vending service where we were selling drinks and stuff. And then my lady at the time, she said, she was tired of working, so she didn't want to work anymore. And she said she wanted to sell hair. So I started a hair business for her, and she ended up backing out of it. So I had so much money invested into it, so I had to keep that going. And then I started a food truck business for my mom. So we were selling food.
Do you do any of those anymore? Or?
No, so basically what happened is I got tired of people not putting their all into it. I was putting 100% into it, and they wasn't. And it's like, so when like I said, the pressure washing thing kind of fell in my lap, and I kind of fell in love with it because it wasn't really something I had planned. But when it fell in my lap, I kind of fell in love with it because I realized that I could do this without anybody. I don't have to depend on anybody to do this. So that's kind of like why I stopped doing everything else, because everything else, I needed someone.
Do you currently do carpet cleaning?
Yeah, we just added on carpet cleaning this year. It was something that I was a little bit afraid to pull the trigger on, but I kind of, with pressure washing, especially with the work that we do, I'm seeing, clients, they're calling maybe, every 3 to 4 years because the cleanings, they stay pretty good, for a while. And when we first started off, we went for the worst houses. And what I learned by doing that in the beginning, when you go for the worst houses, those houses have been dirty for 10, 15 years. So they're not calling us back. So that kind of bit me in the butt. So I figured with carpet cleaning, we'll get more, returning clients more sooner, versus we wash the house wash lasts for, 3 to 4 years. So basically my point is we have to really rely on new clients every year versus if we did carpet cleaning, we can get people set up on, carpet cleaning twice a year or at least once a year.
Can you talk about some of their pricing for the pressure washing?
So with pressure washing, we'll say with the house, I try to keep it simple. A normal ranch style house, we'll say that I charge $50 per side. So if it's 2-story, $75 to $100 per side. And the reason why I say that because in certain areas, a 2-story house could look like a mansion, or it could look like, it could be a small 2-story house, or it can be like a mansion style. With those type of houses, I do every estimate in person. But for your regular style house, $50 a side. And what I do, because I used to measure, but basically I take a side and I say, okay, this side is 50. So I kind of say how many sides are this size on this house. And that's kind of how I get my price.
And then what's a typical driveway? Or?
Typical driveway, about $75. We do 15 to 20 cents per square foot. Your regular style, your regular 2-star driveway, if it's not too long, about $75.
And then any of the other services?
Your regular, let's say a 10 by 12 deck is we do 75 cents per square foot on the deck. On the rails, we do, if it's rails with spindles, we do $2 per linear foot. Your average size deck is about $150. Gutters, we do $1 per linear foot for the first level, $2 per linear foot for the second, and the third, $3. On a regular house, let's say a ranch style house, the house length is about 40 to 50 feet. So if you have gutters on the front and the back, it could be 40, 80 to $100 for a single level. Window cleaning, we do $3 per pane. For the outside window cleaning, we do $4 per pane for the inside hand washing.
Do you currently have any plans on growing or expanding?
It's been a challenge growing because I want to keep, our name, our 5-star rating. We have all 5-star reviews on Facebook and Google. We have a great reputation, and I feel like that's like that because I've been on every job, and I don't want to go on every job. But until I have somebody that's, their heart is in it like me, it doesn't have to be like me. But that's why I say I hire partners instead of employees, because I teach everybody. Anybody that comes on the team, I teach them everything. I don't hold nothing back because you have to be able to go out and interact with these clients, do the job, know everything you need to know, be able to troubleshoot, be able to do estimates, be able to answer questions. You have to know all of these things, and I can't hold anything back if I need you to do these things. So that makes you're just not a regular employee at that point. I need you just as much as you need me for the growth of this company.
Can you talk about some of the equipment that you need for pressure washing?
Basically, you need to spend the extras. You can't be trying to go to Walmart or Lowe's, Home Depot and get you a pressure washer. We spent $5,000, like I said earlier, on two. We got 2 pressure washers that cost us $5,000. We got one that cost us $8,000. And when you want to do work in volume, you got to have something like that. We rely on gallons per minute, the flow, the volume of water versus the pressure, because we can do a 2-story house from the ground with no issue. We can do 3 stories from the ground. If it's not too windy, we don't need any ladders or anything, And to be able to do that, you need to spend the extras on the equipment so you can get those jobs done quick if you got a lot of jobs coming in. That's volume work. But if you don't have a lot of jobs coming in, you can start with, something from Lowe's or Home Depot. But once you have those jobs coming in, you got to spend those thousands on the bigger equipment.
Do you guys just stick to residential? Do you guys have any commercial?
So commercial, we haven't really tapped. So we've done some commercial jobs, but not really tapped into it too much because commercial, they want things done cheap. And I'm having a hard time accepting that because it's like, you guys have way more money than me. So you want me to cut my prices for you to do something one time that you're only gonna get done once every 10 years. If it was something like, they did annually, then yeah, but I don't feel like I should cut my prices for a millionaire to satisfy them, So, and they pretty much want us to cut our prices in half, literally, because it's bulk work. Yes, if we did a commercial job, let's say if it's a job for $20,000 and they want us to do it for 10, yes, we still can be profitable, but still, is that fair, And I just can't accept that. That's why we don't get much commercial work, but we're still doing fine.
Yeah, because you can put in the same amount of hours for residential.
Yep. And they'll appreciate us more, And it's like, commercial, they want you to cut your prices in half, but they want to be particular about certain things, and they want you to still do a great job. And the worst thing that I hate about commercial is they always complain about, we had a company do it last year for X amount of dollars, and we just, we wasn't satisfied. But you want to hire a better company, but you want to pay them either the same amount or less. It doesn't make sense to me.
What was your biggest job that you've done?
Well, this is a pretty big job. I wouldn't say it's our biggest. I don't really know what's our biggest. I think this job is about $8,000. It's 7 units. It takes us about 2 hours per unit. So it's about 14 hours, $8,000. I think that's pretty good. Yeah.
Can you talk about maybe revenue that you started with and then revenue now?
So I literally just looked at some numbers this morning. So we're in May. Last year in May, sales were at, I believe, 31,000. And that includes, discounts and everything. So I don't know what the exact number was, but 31,000 was the sales for last year in May. The year before that, I think it was like 25,000. The year before that was like 19,000. So we grow a little bit every year, but last year was 31. This year right now it's like 48. Last year in June, sales were, if I'm not mistaken, 38 for June. And June is normally our biggest month. So we did 48, right now 48 in May. So that's our biggest month ever right now. Last year in June was 38. And right now we have 32 already booked in June. So, and we haven't even hit June. So that's pretty huge. And we still got space.
How do you combat the seasons?
I always try to make enough money to kind of like hibernate for the season, maybe vacation, you know, one time at least. Honestly, I haven't been able to do that in all of my years doing this business. I've always said, you know, this year was gonna be the year that I can actually, you know, vacation and actually enjoy the off season. What normally happens is I spend a lot of money on employee pay because I put a lot of training and hours into these guys because I'm trying to get them on my level, you know, like not saying I'm like the big shot, but I don't want it to be just one me, you know, that can do everything. You know, I want everybody on my team to be able to do everything. Sometimes I train, you know, 4 guys at a time. We have 2-man teams. Sometimes I have, you know, 4 or 5 guys out on a job when it's not even necessary. But I'm trying to, you know, get these guys trained up, you know, so we all can split up. You know, we can do, you know, 7, 8 jobs in a day versus 3 or 4. And we all can go home early and still, because I pay salary. You know, we can be on the clock for 5 hours, 10 hours, or whatever, you know, but I try to show these guys how to do the job quickly and efficiently. Use, you know, every tool that they have. I don't, like I said, I don't shortchange myself when it comes to buying, you know, the good stuff, because I want to get in and get out. You know, time is money. That's why we don't charge by the hour, we charge by the job, because we're trying to get in and get out and maximize profits. I don't want to give up my summer every year, and I do that, but the goal is to, you know, enjoy my summer as well.
Do you normally work like Monday through Friday?
Yeah, we work Monday through Friday. Sometimes we work on the weekends. Mainly it's mostly commercial if we work on the weekends, or it's jobs that we have to, you know, squeeze in. I do charge extra on the weekends because I want, you know, I want to have a life too. So if I got to work, you know, you got to pay a little extra for that. But I try to leave my weekends open, you know, just in case we run into some issues and we got to make up some jobs. I mean, I don't know if, you know, probably don't want to hear this part, but I got like 3 cracked ribs right now, you know, so I'm a little slow. So I need that weekend, you know, so I can't even laugh. But yeah, things happen and we need that cushion, you know, so like our schedule is packed. The whole month of May has been packed, you know, no room for anything. When people call and they want to get in, you know, ASAP, the weekend is all I can do for you and you got to pay extra for that. And some people are not happy about it, but you know, if you wanted to get on the schedule sooner, you should have called sooner.
Do you have 3 tips of advice for any other entrepreneur out there?
My number 1 tip, don't go cheap with your equipment. My second advice is what I did is I've always ran my company as if I already had a team. When it was just me, I've always said we, you know, when I speak. If somebody messaged us on Facebook, I've always said, how can we help you? Or we'll send a technician out, you know, later today. But it was just me. My last bit of advice is don't be in it. You know, yes, the money is, that's why we're in it. We want to make money, but that shouldn't be the biggest factor in starting a business. You know, you need to do something that you love and have integrity in what you do. Just keep your name good, you know, because one small thing can ruin you. You can do a million things right and then you do one thing wrong and it's just, you know, your business can go down the drain.